Hello dear friends. You are on the channel from the workshop and today we will sew this bag. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel to put a bell to receive notifications, and of course if you liked it, put your likes. If something is not clear, write your comments and we are starting. And today we will make a banana. On the decal. I bought this pattern or decal on AliExpress. No instructions are applied to it, so everything that I will do, I will tell myself, and what additions I will add from myself, I will also tell you, because by default, since it is depicted on AliExpress, I do not like it, I will do it directly to your taste. But while you are brewing tea, we are starting, and the very first thing we need to do is choose the skin from which we will, in fact, sew it. Basically I use crazy horse leather. Today it will be a cognac leather with a characteristic for crazy horse with gushes like this. These are all her interesting things. Pay attention to how beautiful she is. And with this leather, in fact, we will make our bag. The first thing we need to do is cut out the main parts of it, and then the first question is how to do it so that we have everything perfectly. Very simple. We need Scotch tape for this. We have two options for cutting. The first option is to simply cut out the decal. The second option is to use a ruler or some kind of one that will help to cut out our decal more or less evenly. Everything coincides. We remove everything unnecessary and begin to do it. As you understand from this side, you also need to make a sticker, so the step of the punch is 4 millimeters. So here we will use exactly a punch of 4 millimeters to fix it as much as possible, perhaps. I will make another fixation here, but it is much better so that it does not move anywhere, it does not protrude. So where to start? I think that the best thing is from the inside, so we put it on our decal and punch it. So the first circle is ready for the next circle. It is shown to us and it is recommended to punch these two. I will probably only punch the outer layer. I will not punch the inner layer, because I just do not see the point in this. You can do it at your discretion as you like. Pay attention to this part. We are now not touching the holes here. We do not punch now, we have to cut. Our edges where we did not cut these ones, after I took off the decal, I got this. Kind at the moment I put it aside. Now we need to make the opposite side of our bag. For this we turn over the pattern and do the same thing that we did in the first part. We start from the corner, glue it like this. Pay attention to what position it is. If you put it like this next to it, then they are like a mirror image. We cut out this time that we punch. Again all the outer holes completely along the perimeter. We punch these 2 holes and these 2. Now we punch these ones. But we don't touch this perimeter, we only need it for the front part. Then you need to make such a future pocket in this situation. We will need it in order to sew. If I'm not mistaken, this one or this one is not exactly this piece of sewing, but it does not go completely, so I recommend cutting off a piece for her because she even has a mark. It goes like this on this part. I recommend immediately doing it completely here. Or sewing on both sides, and then I'll explain why I'll do it like this first. In this way, we glue it. So that it is even and even here, we follow the previous example. For a start, we punch the hole. After that we cut it out. Only after we have pierced everything, we proceed to cutting out. Another piece and 2 more of the same pieces in total. We will need such a piece for, I will later explain why it is, because the Chinese do it in their own way, I do it in my own way, as I said about this at the beginning, so if you want, you can do it at your discretion how you like it. If you like how I do it, repeat after me. Also do not forget to put your likes to ask questions. You can directly ask a question during the video. If you do not understand something, I will answer all your questions. Without exception, after we cut out 4 such strips, we proceed to the next step. We cut out this part here, we punch everything, that is, these holes, we completely punch it first. Let's punch it, then we will cut it out after everything is pierced. We can proceed to cutting out everything. Is the same standard. First I cut out the outline, then the rest of the parts. In general, this part is ready. It looks like this. Of course, the edges will still need to be processed. We proceed to the next part. Now this part of the big such pieces is the last part. Will still be small in my opinion. Now we punch this part, we cut it out, it will be our outer pocket. So it is better to choose the most beautiful areas of the skin for it. As usual, we punch it. As I said, there are still such small pieces and such a piece. I will not use this piece at all. This is a zipper stop, that is, for a zipper stopper. So now this little one, what is it? This is a piece that we will end up with a handle. Such pieces need two, so let's see what we got there. Front side, the back side. For such stripes, the first pocket on the front side, the second pocket on the front side and the pocket valve on the front side, and of course two fasteners for the handle. Proceed to the next stage. So the next stage, as I said, we pierce the holes where we have not yet punched them, that is. These two holes are of interest to us at the moment and we install a button on them. The first is this. Hole, the hat is leveled so that everything is even, otherwise we will not succeed exactly. The next stage we punched a hole, installed the buttons. Now we will process the edges, align these parts, we will process and we will sew, but for now this is the processing of the edge. So after processing the edges, we start this sewing. First I sewed this valve in such a way that it could be covered like this. The Chinese, as always, in my repertoire, I will redo this part a little more precisely, this part. I will cut off this part and grind it again, so here I cut it, polished it, I also paid attention to what needs to be done. This part needs to be cut, otherwise it will not become on this side, the same. And so I sewed this part, that's what I got. I specially put such a lid on it, so that it takes the correct shape. Here is a recommendation about this button: do not hurry to punch holes according to the dimensions that are indicated in the decal, because it is very tight. It goes a little, even here. I think that for a few millimeters you need to punch the button here, put the valve below than there is further. Then we take our decal, throw it like this, where it should be, and mark the place where the zipper should be sewn, so there is a mark. And it means that we need before that, I sew it myself, it means we sew it a little. Lower than this, so that it is correct. In general, the point is that we need this part to sew here like this, along the contour, but a very important detail, we do not start with the corner point, but with the next one. It should remain for now, then I will explain why. And so I sewed this part that I was talking about. What we do next, then we need this part, taking into account the entrance here. Count the number and cut where we need to go here, then I will tell you what to do. We count Here I got 69 holes, taking into account the entrance to these places, here I marked up to 70. Here is 69.70, I cut off by mark 70 here where the mark is 69, where the hole is pierced. Such as here, that it was possible to sew, and here we will sew the zipper with you. After that, when we have pierced 2 holes on both sides, we need to make a cut here. After processing, we attach the zipper itself. For general aesthetics, I also punched here along the contour of the zipper itself. In general, this is what I got now, this part needs to be sewn from this part, so in general. I sewed this part, this is how it looks, this is what I said, in my opinion, it looks much better. Then when there is a zipper here, now we need to sew this part to the main piece, here is the main piece, that is, to this main piece, we sew it like this and sew it like this, for example. In the end it will look like this, after we sew this part, we will still sew the zipper here and sew this part, so I sewed this part, as I said, this is how it looks, now you need to sew this part. In a similar way and this one here. Unlike what the Chinese offer without this part. We do with this part, we also insert the zipper here, the zipper will be built here and the rest of the part will go here, this part will be closed. This part is also sewn, we go to the next. Next part, we need to sew this zipper to the main piece. We go to the main piece, I immediately sew this piece, I had time now, we sew this part from here. From here, taking into account the extreme pieces, we get 29 holes in this piece that we cut earlier. We have 30 holes that we cut off. One hole like this, here we punch a hole like here and just insert this one, sew it here, that's why I said we need exactly 4 pieces. so we continue in general, this part is sewn. Here like this, I already sewed a little here, the last piece should be sewn here, but before it is sewn here, there are still a couple of details. This is to sew the fasteners, and the next stage we will have to sew the fasteners and close this piece, that is, I have an idea how to do it beautifully with the help of these two holes and close and still make the fasteners in general. I thought what I came to, I'm telling you, I'm doing such a workpiece here, I just don't punch the holes, I don't punch these two, I don't punch these, I punch the holes along the contour and cut them out. Further, I sew this thing in here, so I sew it in, thereby covering the seam and sewing it here. I think this will be enough, and behind there will be a classic fastener for the strap. We sew this part, we also sew all the other parts, two more like this, we all sew it, it's purely decorative, because they are fastened with rivets. Another option is to sew this one right away to the strap, it will still be fastened like this, so I think the second option will also be quite good. So this is all sewn prepared, we now proceed to the installation. This is the kind of view it will have, and finally we move on to the very last stage when everything is already prepared. This is to sew this part here, that is, we sew the back wall with the main part. This is such a bag we turned out to be very comfortable, and now we will take a closer look at the bag a little. Closer, and I will tell you what I specifically changed in it, unlike what is offered to be sold on AliExpress for the decals, and so the specific changes that were in this bag are: first of all, there should be just a zipper without leather. We put the same piece of leather here and it looks much more beautiful. The second one here, there is no expansion, we also made this expansion ourselves. Everything is described in the video. The third one here, we also have a connection that I didn't like one bit. I put such a valve here. Everything else, in principle, according to the decal, there is one more recommendation to put the button a little lower here or higher here because it is not very convenient. It closes. One more detail I wanted to say, I changed the strap to a black strap because the strap does not fit well with the client. Everything is agreed, so everyone was satisfied. Thanks for watching. That you have come to this moment. If you liked our video, put your likes. Do not forget to write a comment if something is not clear and there is a constructive criticism. Also write in the comments. One more important information for those who watch the video to the end: put on a finger like this, some kind of plasters, because what happens, these fingers suffer very much when we sew. Look, this is such a plaster, not super quality on a paper base, it just tears apart from constant sewing. Pay attention to my finger, it all comes from the seam, that is, the way, or otherwise the puncture of some kind of finger goes. If you can use special plasters and it is convenient for you, of course, use it. I recommend not to forget about it. If you can't, like me, use it. For example, do it like this, but there is a problem with this for those who Constantly sew a video. From constant sewing, our skin becomes harder due to this. It can burst, so use such things so that you're and also use a cream to use a cream. So that the skin is not so tough so that it does not burst. Personally face such a problem. Thanks for your attention, and you are on the channel from the workshop. Subscribe to the channel if you are not yet subscribed, put a bell to receive new notifications, be sure to leave your comments, questions, suggestions, constructive criticism in essence. Until we meet again.